Yes, as debates continue to rent the air about what needs to change in the Nigeria that is not working for anybody. Restructuring, shout of restructuring, debates about amendment or all kinds of suggestions about what to do. There's a mischief that has been added. We saw some 60 members of Nigeria's National House of Representatives. But we also note that those 60 come from one part of this map behind me. And so they're saying it is by Nigeria going back to parliamentary system immediately. They want to, they are creating a false narrative as if it was it is the presidential system of government that has created all the problems. Let's just go back to parliamentary system. Which union are they talking about? The people, these 60 dumb heads, which union are you talking about? We are saying we have no union with you. With this fraud as basis, we are saying we have no union with you. Unless we resolve that matter, you are not talking to us in your suggestion about going to parliamentary system. There are two heavy questions you have to take. Like a house, you have to buy the land, build, before you begin to talk about decoration. System of government, whether parliamentary or presidential, is like leaving the substantive question of disputed land. Our union is now disputed by virtue of the constitutional force majeure of 2020. Our union, we have no union with you. That's the summary of the charge, that the constitution is a fraud, that the union is a fraud against us. We are not in union with you. You are imposing yourselves on us, and you can't be allowed, you are not going to be allowed to continue to pretend, especially when it is our signature that you inserted falsely. You inserted in forgery as basis of that constitution. So we have no union with you to be talking about parliamentary. Those two heavy questions that you have to take first. Like I said, have you secured the land for the project? Have you built the house that you are now talking about, whether it is to be painted blue or painted red? That's what that discussion of parliamentary is. The basic question first, go to the preamble of that constitution so you can see that we have to resolve the question whether indeed it is true that we, the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, having firmly and solemnly resolved to live together in unity as one indivisible, indissoluble entity. That's the first question. And it was only by referendum of the constituent component, the people you trapped, the people you hijacked their sovereignties and conscripted into this union by this falsehood, supported by brigandage. Decree is all about the brigandage. If you don't agree, we kill you. That's how is union at gunpoint. Under this constitution, it is union at gunpoint. So it is when we settle the question of whether we agree, whether we want to be in federation, right? Because that constitution is dead. So we don't even have a union anymore, if anybody will tell themselves the truth. And we come to the second question of the structure. What Nigeria have been shouting from and bleeding from is the structure, the 36-state structure, compounded by 774 local government that got listed illegitimately in the constitution, so that we now have to finance 812 governments every month. For the ones who are running their mouth about cost of governance that they're going to bring down in one form or the other, you are financing 812 governments every month. Where will you find the money to provide, any kind of service to the populace? 812. Do the arithmetic. 36 states, 704 local government areas, a humongous federal government with countless numbers of ministries and MDAs. Then Federal Capital Territory, 704. Each of them with their own bureaucracies. Each of the states will have a state house of assembly, maybe 20 or 30 members. They will have commissioners. They will have all kinds of other MDAs they create for themselves. Multiply it into 36. Everybody goes with their own convoy. Then you go to 704 local government areas. Every month they gather in Abuja. and share money. What are they doing with the money? The responsibility for doing things have been confiscated by the federal government. Section 6, Section 6C, Section 6, subsection 6C of your constitution absolve the government of responsibility towards you. So all these 36 governors and 7 government area chairmen that go to gather money every month, they don't owe you any obligation, not to talk about the president or anybody else. And so it is to say that it is not parliamentary system or presidential system that is the issue, because even if you go to parliamentary, the question is, has that taken care of the 36 states that we are saddled with to finance? Has that taken care of the 7 local government areas we are saddled with to finance? How does that take care of the 68 items on exclusive list? So you see, it is being dishonest. You could say disingenuous, but it's just being plain dishonest, because they know. Why is the discussion coming up now? That people are saying, let us go and rework the basis of the union, or disperse from the union of death we have been trapped into. So please, let nobody, it smacks of illiteracy, but we see more of dishonesty because of the people who are saying it, and in the time they are saying it, and again the backdrop of the campaign that has come to hit them in the face, that we say we have no union with them. So they want to drag us into the rigmarole of discussing that parliament. And I saw what's the name of this quota professor? They say Ango Abdullahi. I saw him speaking strongly that it is by going to parliamentary that nobody is deceived. Our issue is not parliamentary or presidential. Our issue is whether we are in a union, and Bola raised it long time ago. If we solve that question, that first question, by referendum, no other way, no politician is going to decide that for anybody. It is the owners of the sovereignty by referendum that will resolve the question of whether we are in union or we're not in union. The amalgamation of 1914 is gone. The amalgamation of 1999 is what we are dismantling now. So let nobody come to say our country, our democracy, our economy, unless we define that the we that is contained in that preamble. Who are that we? Who are those we? Is Yoruba part of that we? Is Igbo part of that we? Are you going to impose it on them like the British did? Unless we define that we, don't come to talk about our democracy or our economy or our country or our future. We have a union dispute we must resolve now. If we're not resolving it, I tell you the union is at an end. If it is on the basis of this falsehood, this forgery, that you are holding my sovereignty, holding all my economic assets, pointing guns at me because you assigned monopoly of gun to yourself. You assign my economic asset to yourself. You assign my right to elect who govern me to yourself. So you have INEC. You have NEPA. It's not going to hold. Let us deal with first things first. When we are done with all of that, like a building that has to be decorated when you have finished building it, that's when we begin to talk about system of government. Let nobody introduce that type of distraction. It's infuriating. You may think you are being smart. It's not going to catch. It's not going to wash. 2 questions. Do we have a union? Are we still in any union at all? Referendums to resolve that. And that's why Ninas placed a 5-point proposition on the table. Let us accept that we have not made this constitution. Let us accept we have to decommission it wholesale, not any form of amendment. Let us accept we have wasted enough time since 1967 after Aburi. We haven't gone back to that discussion any meaningfully. And therefore we say no further national election so that we can deal with it immediately. Let us then invite the owners of the sovereignties, that's item 4, to discuss the modalities of how they are going to go about it. That's a transition. The modalities of how to discuss that matter now and resolve it, in some way. Then in the 5th one, you make a time-bound announcement after all the discussions are taking place to say, look, gentlemen, you are now addressing the global community. We have a problem. Our constitutional arrangements have been toppled and rearranged in a manner that even the UN described it as a pressure cooker for injustice. That's how they discuss it. That's how the United Nations, rapporteur that was sent, Agnes Callamard, that was sent to Nigeria to come to investigate the extrajudicial case. There was blood all over the place, 2019, August. Agnes Kalama's rapporteur mission reported back that Nigeria's constitutional arrangement was like pressure cooker for injustice. The whole world is seeing it. You are the only one pretending not to see it. But the people who live in it are not only seeing it, they are feeling it. They are being killed in it. They are being starved to death in it. They are being chased out of their spaces, whether it's in the Middle Belt or even in Port Harcourt. The ones from the Dotting Circle are all over the world running away from you, from their country. So let us stop all this nonsense. It can only make matters worse. The goodwill to discuss, to even discuss, because this matter doesn't require any discussion any further. People are going to the right to self-determination. Unfortunately for you, their sovereignty is inalienable to them as long as they have their land and their distinct ethnic groups on their ancestral spaces. They don't need your permission to live in that place peacefully. The constitution by which you took control of all the guns in the land and all the economic assets, that constitution is dead. Those things are back in their hands, just that they are still sleeping. They are still being, deceived into thinking that there's some kind of leadership that will come from election is going to solve. Leadership is not the problem. It's the constitution that's the problem, 100%. Election is not the way to go. It is transition that can solve the problem. Have we not gone to election now? Let us go back to announcing a transition while we still can. There will be a time you will be begging people to come to discuss this matter. They are not going to listen to you. And if you come to their space, they are going to, if you come in the name of Nigeria, they are going to charge you out of their space. Because that Nigeria imposed on them by this constitution is dead and gone. No matter how anybody wants to put it or see it, it can only be either right or wrong, either false or true. Do we have a union that will come and point guns at me in Isheyin or in Abeokuta or in Boko? Let us go and solve this problem while we still have the time to discuss it. If we allow this time to pass, people are going to solve it in their own way. They're only going to say, we're no longer interested. Everybody will turn their back to your Abuja. That Abuja that has become the scene of, crime scene. 24 hours, every spot you look is crime going on. Crime, more crime. Because we have gathered in the name of a people you didn't talk to. You put their signature. You put their signature on a document they didn't make as basis of authorization for what you are doing against them. And you are killing them, impoverishing them, tormenting them mercilessly. They are going to act together against you. And who are the you we are talking about here? The ones who imposed the caliphate, the alliance of 1967, the people who imposed this constitution. And then the willing tools from all the parts, all of those who swear to defend and uphold this constitution, whether they be from Imo or Abia or Rivers or Lagos, all of those who swear to defend and uphold this fraud are the ones holding the ladder for the enemy that is killing, tormenting, expropriating. Stop here.